Well, we are back to the shop here now, and we're going to field start this planter here today. Field start it for the season, that is. We've got to load it with fertilizer. We hadn't wanted to load anything with fertilizer or seed up to this point because we weren't sure where we were going to start or be able to start here first thing. So we're going to get this one going first, get Jared planting, and then I'm going to get the other one going. So the fertilizer, we're going to put a different fertilizer in this one than what we're going to use on the other one. And we do have seed opener discs that are in a pallet inside, but we're not quite needing to replace them. The main thing is we need to get this in the field now, and then when we get a rain day or get a moment that we need something to do, which is always, we always need something to do, we can change those seed opener discs then. But the main course of action here now is just to get it loaded with everything and get it in the field and going. Well, we've got the old 2 Chevy out of winter storage. That's been parked since about October. So we had the 9620 laid down. My brother was disking with it, and it just quit. Transmission quit. The mobility of it quit. The engine didn't quit. So we're like, well, maybe the park brake valve screwed up, maybe this, maybe that. Well, long story short, it ended up being the coupler that comes off the back of the engine that goes to the transmission. Took the service truck down there. Probably should have just taken a pickup down. He was way down. He was far into the field. Got that stuck. Walked over to the tractor and figured out what it was, and then we're like, well, we'll get this thing unhooked. It did move on its own. It moved about 120 yards or so, and then it stopped again. We're thinking what happened is the dampener cooled down enough and the rubber kind of fused itself back together, and then we tried moving it and got 150 yards or so with it, and then it went offline. So that's the phone, and I'm gonna have to answer that, and we'll get back to our story here in a minute, trying to hook up to this seed tender. Alright, seed tender is hooked up. We fogged this engine this winter. Smoking a little bit right now, but at least it runs. Jared's loading up with fertilizer here now. Loading direct from the tanks. And we've got, hey, that's good enough. Hey, that was good enough. Loading direct. And then once he gets filled with fertilizer here, pump doesn't really want to run all that well. Once we get loaded with fertilizer, we're going to get some seeds loaded up, and we'll get his hoppers all filled here. And then we're going to field start this one, and I'll come back to the shop and go through some things on the other planter and then get that going. We fogged all these engines, but that one there isn't running all that great. Might need to burn a good tank of gas through it. So Yeah, all right. Well, we're gonna get our seed tender up and going. I've gotta open up the sump on it, make sure there isn't anything in it, and then we can load it with seed. We've just got to figure out what variety we want to grab. We have Brevant BMR silage here, and then we've got conventional seed down to, well, there's only 4 totes of conventional seed there, and then we've got Pioneer BMR seed in these boxes. We've got, I don't know if there's 2 or 3 boxes that are yet to come here, so we'll figure out what variety we're going to use, and we'll load it up here. Alright, so we've got the first seed tote that we're dumping into the seed tender. I know I'm gonna get some of you that say, geez, why don't you just get the style tote? Yeah, all right, go ahead. The style tote that, or tender that holds the totes. Well, we use this for wheat as well, and bulk wheat, bulk run wheat. So the first seed we're starting with is 106-day, all of it, Brevant BMR silage corn. We have 4 totes of this variety. We've got a couple of totes of the Pioneer 108-day. And then we have some 114-day Brevant and Pioneer, along with some 112-day. Yeah, open it back up. Let me. I think it's done. All right, so that'll be enough to get his planter up and going. So we'll set this tote out of the way, and he'll get his planter unfolded and we'll get it filled. Go ahead and unfold, Jared. Alright, so what I went and done is I put masking tape on all of these totes with the variety that it is, so we can see it from the back side, because all these are tagged either on the side or the end or the opposite side, and you can't see what's in them. Then when the tote is empty, we've got these set up so we can come right into the back side of it. Then the gate is over on the opposite side, and then when they're empty, we just pull the tape off. And we know the tote is empty, and we don't have to worry about wondering whether or not the bottom tote on a stack of 2 is empty or not. So he'll get unfolded, we'll get into position, and we'll fill the planter, and then we'll get him down to the field, and we'll get him field started. Alright, this is the first bit of seed going in the planter. We're just going to put little partial bin loads on. This planter will hold 48 bags worth of seed. 16 row planter, 3 bushel hoppers, we only want to put about 40 pounds in each hopper. So, for the most part, the fertilizer pumps have worked. The seed tender's working just like it's supposed to. We're not using the talc applicator. We're gonna put some talc on by hand, and then we'll have to get our fertilizer started on this and get that primed and get it going, and start putting seeds in the ground. All right, so we are loaded up with seed fertilizer. We had a little bit of an issue getting fertilizer started. Now, this planter, the fertilizer runs off the Power Beyond on the tractor, and the Power Beyond also runs the hydraulic downforce, and those lines plug into the back of the tractor. We could not get fertilizer to prime, so we went back and forth with a few things. We had the air out of the system, but we didn't feel like we were getting any hydraulic flow to this pump that's on the back of the planter. Now, we've had these John Blue pumps set up before. We were half thinking that maybe it was just locked up and it needed a little assistance. Well, that wasn't the case. We got this load sense hose here that plugs into a, almost looks like a Pioneer fitting, but it's their own setup. It's a, I don't know what kind of a fitting it is. It's not a Pioneer style fitting. So at any rate, that wasn't hooked up correctly. It blew the O-ring out of it, so we had to bypass that. We made this short hose up, got that hooked up. Still didn't feel like we were getting any hydraulic flow back to the fertilizer pump. Now I'm like questioning whether or not I've got the hoses plugged in correctly. I'm like, well, I really can't see any writing on them. I don't know which one's pressure. I don't know what's return. I thought the pressure was on the left. Well, pressure's on the right. So we had that hooked up wrong, and we had to switch them around, and then we, of course, got flow out of that fertilizer pump there. So we're going to take this to the field. We're going to field start it here now, and we're going to see how things go. We've just got to, we fired all the meters. We've just got to get some seed in the ground and see how things go and check things out. And then this one will be, we can take that check mark and hit that box. This one will be going. The other one, I haven't got that one ready yet completely. So we'll get this to the field and start putting seeds in the ground. So this is the first field that we are going to start with right here. unfolded and let him get fired up here. All right, there we go. One there. Another one right there. They're 6.5 inches apart. So if we got one there and one there should be another one. Right there. Right there. Right there. Bang. And then we are achieving to be over 2 inches. And we are a good 2 1/8. So we're in pretty good shape there. So he's watching his monitor and everything should be doing what it's supposed to be doing here. Ground speed's down to probably 3.5 miles an hour. He can pick that up, but he's getting everything dialed in. He was trying to adjust the row cleaners. We don't need them because we don't have any debris on the ground here to sweep out of the way. We like to have them down and just kind of scuffing to push the little stones and fluff balls and whatever out of the way. So this field here, this didn't have any injected manure on it. Andrew spread a lot of pen pack manure down here. Being that it didn't get any liquid, we're using fertilizer on it that we use for where we haven't put any liquid manure down. So we'll see how he does once he gets all the way around here. This field's only like 10, 11, 12 acres or something. And the conditions are a lot better down here because we hadn't injected any manure on it where we were earlier with that 9620. That ground was kind of wet. We got this thing stuck. And we didn't finish our story about that 9620. We kind of forgot where we left off with that, but we ended up having that run good enough to be able to get it to get to the road. We pulled it to the road with the 7290, and we just let the tractor run to be able to release the brakes. We can actually run down to that field now and see how my brother's made out with discing it. We're gonna go down there right now. We'll run down there, see how he made out with discing that, and then we'll come back here and check on Jared. He's going a lot slower than he needs to go, but he's running the outside of the field. Getting everything dialed in. But other than having our power beyond hoses hooked up wrong, everything is going good. Usually the big guys have problems because they've got so much more that they have to worry about with seed tenders working and fertilizer pumps and tractors and big corn planters and everything else. But other than having those hoses mixed up, there wasn't any other problems. So we'll go down and check on that field, see how the conditions are, where we would like to go to next. But we're probably gonna have to let that dry out and hit it again with that disc to get it to dry out. So let's go for a little ride. Alright, so the field that my brother went to first thing with the disc today is right here on our left side. And he was way back in the back corner. When this 9620 laid down, the conditions look pretty good here. Yeah, I wanted to come here next, but boy, it is soft underneath. And we pulled this tractor around to this point. One of the mechanics, actually Jake, is coming here tomorrow to work on it. I think I can get right in here and plant this here tomorrow. Some conditions look good to go here. So we'll go back to the field where Jared is at and see how he's making out. It's just a couple miles from here is all. And this is gravelly ground, but this did have a lot of manure applied to it, injected. So that's down under the surface, and with it down under the surface, the ground gets sealed off, and then the manure really never dries out until you get it worked in with the discs. So we'll get back to where Jared's planting and see how he's making out. Alright, this is where my brother's discing. I went by the field that Jared was planting, and he had made his second time around, and he was just getting ready to go back and forth. Looks like we're going to be able to get into here. My brother said it's a little, it's borderline, but I think if we waste our time with the planters a little bit, drag our feet, this will be in good shape when we get to it. This here, this used to be farmed the other way. I actually did a drone video chopping into trucks. Where the heck was that? Chopping across this field. I had trucks follow me right about here in this field, and we were coming this way. And now we're farming this. That would be north and south. Now we're farming this east and west. We have a driveway cutting through the middle of this farm. We bought this from my uncle, and when I was a kid, we used to work together, and all this was farmed. This field up here, up into this one spot, it's like this was farmed this way up to this point right here. This was a separate field on our left side that went over to a little nook in that area. It's like 17 or 18 acres here, another 17 or 18 acres there, and then this spot off to our right was going up and down this hill. But we've got a driveway that comes in off of the one back road, and then another driveway that goes in down on the other one, and we've got a nice driveway through here. So that's my brother calling there, so I better answer his phone call. But there was wheat in here, and we seeded this down to alfalfa, so this is the first year alfalfa here. So I better get to him. I'm grabbing him so I can give him a ride out of here, and yeah, we'll touch base with Jared here in a minute, and yeah. Alright, so he is just about done here. We didn't really want to plant this whole thing tonight. I told him we could leave the planter down here, but Everything looks like it's working the way it should. So we'll jump in with him for a minute and we'll see how things are going. Alright, well, this is planting. Doing what it's supposed to be doing. Always been wrong. Well, that is gonna do it for this video. Everything is working the way it should. He's got just a little tiny sliver left of this field. And that'll be it for this video. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one. I'll have to do a separate video on field starting the other planter. So take it easy, folks, and we'll catch you at the next one. Thanks for watching.